What's going on, people? So this is definitely a different version of. Oh my god, this is a different style of video compared to what I normally do because I've been doing like whispers and stuff. But I wanted to try this out. Um, and it's just gonna be more soft spoken reading. So what I've got in front of me is a collection that was from my grandfather's collection. Um, and my grandpa was very obsessed with books. Was always reading books. Always had like 5 or 6 books rented from a library at a time. Like it was crazy. And he always tried to get me to read. So I kind of picked that up like a little bit. So what I have in front of you today is Sand and Foam by Khalil Gibran or Gibran. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so that's on me. Um, he's the author of, or they're the author of The Prophet, and as you can see right here, we have a little bit of imagery right here. I'm just gonna try and keep this in view for y'all. Yeah, I have my camera flipped upside down, and I'm gonna make it not upside down when I'm editing this, obviously. But the quality, in my opinion, is higher when I do that. As to why, I don't know. Don't legitimately don't ask me. I don't know how cameras work like that. That's just what it is. Okay, so we're just going with that. Now, oh, it actually. Okay, so I just looked at the back. I just looked at the back, right? And there's a quote from someone named Claude Bragdon, um, probably about the author, but it's also got the author on the back. Like this is Khalil. Khalil's right here. This is Khalil, to my knowledge. It probably is. That doesn't make sense otherwise. Let's be real here. Um, and yeah, as you can see, it has his date of birth and time of death. This is an old book, legitimately. Um, and I believe it might be a collection of his books. I don't really know much about this. I just know it's poems and whatnot. Okay, so I don't really feel like reading the quote on the back. I'm just gonna save you all the time. On the inside, like, hold on, look how cheap this book was. $3.50 back then. Like that's insane compared to how prices are. Never mind. That's a whole inflation talk. But a book of aphorisms. I think that's how you spell. I've never seen that word before. I'm gonna be real. Poems and parables by the author of The Prophet, a philosopher at his window, commenting on the scene passing below. It is my opinion, and I've often heard others express it as their own, that there is not in the language another book of its character. A book that is not only 3 dimensions, height, depth, and breadth. I don't. It's it bread then th. I don't ask me. Um, but also the 4th dimension, timelessness, which is but another word for time, unbound, limitless. Sand and Foam is a book that will penetrate the conscious deeply and inevitably, as The Prophet has done. It's apparently from Barbara Young in This Man from Lebanon, a study of Khalil Gibran. Okay, I guess the person was from Lebanon. The publisher is Alfred A. Nope. They have like they have the name of like Leslie Nope from Parks and Rec. Like, yeah, it's Parks and Rec. I don't. Yeah, it's gonna write down there. See what I'm talking about? The little like KNOP, not the Nope NOP E. Forgot the E. And it has writing on it from September 20th, 1964. I think it doesn't say the year, but 64. And I can't read that cursive. Dumb. We're not doing that. Anyways, let's get to the main subject here. Sand and Foam. This is the books of Khalil Gibran. It has his titles from 1918, 1919, 1920. Okay, it's gonna continue being my point. Going all the way up to 1950. This man from Lebanon. Oh, no, that's the part about the study about him. Okay, let's actually get started with this now. The 7 illustrations in this volume are reproduced from original drawings by the author. Oh, he did the art too, that's fire. Copyright 1926. Don't copyright strike me, please. I beg you. This is not my work. I'm saying that in case. Let's be real here. We all know it's not. Okay. I am forever walking upon these shores, betwixt the sand and the foam. The high tide will erase my footprints, and the wind will blow away the foam. But the sea and the shore will remain forever. Once I filled my hand with mist, then I opened it, and lo, the mist was a worm. And I closed and opened my hand again, and behold, there was a bird. And again I closed and opened my hand, and in its hollow stood a man with a sad face turned upward. And again I closed my hand, and when I opened it, there was naught but mist, but I heard a song of exceeding sweetness. It's got like little doodles of friendship. Come on, you can't be doing this. I don't want to mess up like the. But yeah, you see, it's got these nice little things here. Okay, and I'm gonna mic over to my side right here, just because the light's really bright, and I realized that I don't need to have it right up to me for it to pick up the volume. Okay, let's get back to this, shall we? It was but yesterday I thought myself a fragment quivering without rim in the sphere of life. Now I know that I am the sphere, and all life in rhythmic fragments moves within me. They say to me in their awakening, you and the world you live in are but a grain of sand upon the infinite shore of an infinite sea. And in my dream I say to them, I am the infinite sea, and all worlds are but grains of sand upon my shore. Only once have I been made mute. It was when a man asked me, who are you? The first thought of God was an angel. The first word of God was a man. We were fluttering, wandering, longing creatures 1,000,000 years before the sea and the wind and the forest gave us words. Now how can we express the ancient of our days in us with only the sounds of our yesterdays? A sphinx spoke only once, and the sphinx said, a grain of sand is a desert, and a desert is a grain of sand. And now let us all be silent again. But I heard the sphinx, but I did not understand. Once I saw the face of a woman, and I beheld all her children not yet born. And a woman looked upon my face, and she knew all my forefathers, dead before she was born. Now would I fulfill myself? But how shall I, unless I become a planet within or with intelligent lives dwelling upon it? Is not this every man's goal? A pearl is a temple built by pain around a grain of sand. What longing built their bodies and around what grains? When God threw me, a pebble, into this wondrous lake, I disturbed its surface with countless circles. But when I reached the depths, I became very still. Give me silence, and I will out there the night. Okay, I'm pretty sure these are all like little tiny segments. Yeah. I had a second birth when my soul and my body loved one another and were married. Once I knew a man whose ears were exceedingly keen, but he was dumb. He had lost his tongue in a battle. I know now what battles that man fought before the great silence came. I'm glad he is dead. The world is not large enough for two of us. Let's not worry about what that means. Long did I lie in the dust of Egypt, silent and unaware of the seasons. When the sun gave birth to me, I rose and walked upon the banks of the Nile, singing with the days and dreaming with the nights. And now the sun treads upon me with 1,000 feet, that I may lie again in the dust of Egypt. But behold, a marvel and a riddle. The very sun that gathered me cannot scatter me. Still erect am I, and sure afoot do I walk upon the banks of the Nile. Remembrance is a form of meaning. Forgetfulness is a form of freedom. We measure time according to the movement of countless suns, and they measure time by little machines in their little pockets. Now tell me, how could we ever meet at the same place and the same time? Space is not space between the earth and the sun to one who looks down from the windows of the Milky Way. Humanity is a river of light running from eternity to eternity. Do not the spirits who dwell in the either envy man is pain, or in the ether envy man is pain. Talking in riddles, we love it. Okay. On my way to the holy city, I met another pilgrim, and I asked him, "Is this indeed the way to the holy city?" And he said, "Follow me, and you will reach the holy city in a day and a night." And I followed him, and we walked many days and many nights, yet we did not reach the holy city. And what was to my surprise, he became angry with me because he had misled me. So he got mad at him for... Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, get mad at the guy who followed you. I might be reading that wrong. No, there's no way I'm reading that wrong. Okay. Make me, O God, the prey of the lion. Ear, you make the rabbit my prey. One may not reach the dawn, save by the path of the night. And then there's a little art piece of, I don't know, someone sitting on a stone with robes at their waist. I don't know. I think the artwork's pretty cool. My house says to me, "Do not leave me, for here dwells your past." And the road says to me, "Come and follow me, for I am your future." And I say to both my house and the road, "I have no past, nor have I a future. If I stay here, there is no going in my staying. And if I go, there is no staying in my going. Only love and death change all things. How can I lose faith in the justice of life, when the dreams of those who sleep upon feathers are not more beautiful than the dreams of those who sleep upon the earth? Strange, the desire for certain pleasures is part of my pain. 7 times have I despised my soul. For the first time I saw her being meek, that she might attain height. The second time I saw her limping before she crippled, or before the crippled. Not before she. The third time, when she was given to choose between the hard and the easy, and she chose the easy. The fourth time, when she committed a wrong, and comforted herself that others also commit wrong. The fifth time, when she forbore for weakness and attributed her patience to strength. The sixth time, when she despised the ugliness of a face, and knew not that it was one of her own masks. And the seventh time, when she sang a song of praise and deemed it a virtue. I am ignorant of absolute truth, but I am humble before my ignorance, and therein lies my honor and my reward. There's a space between man's imagination and man's attainment that may only be traversed by his longing. Paradise is there, behind that door, in the next room, but I have lost the key. Perhaps I have only mislaid it. You are blind, and I am deaf and dumb, so let us both touch hands and understand. Okay. The significance of man is not in what he attains, but rather in he longs to attain. Some of us are like ink, and some like paper, and if it were not for the blackness of some of us would be dumb, and if it were not for the whiteness of some of us would be blind. Give me an ear, and I will give you a voice. Our mind is a sponge, our heart is a stream. It is not strange that most of us choose sucking rather than running. When you long for blessings that you may not name, and when you grieve, knowing not the cause, then indeed you are growing with all things that grow, and rising towards a greater self. When one is drunk with a vision, he deems his faint expression of it the very wine. You drink wine that you may be intoxicated, and I drink that it may sober me from that other wine. When my cup is empty, I resign myself to its emptiness. But when it is half full, I resent its half fullness. Resign. The reality of the other person is not in what he reveals to you, but in what he cannot reveal to you. Therefore, if you would not understand him, listen to what he does not say, what he says, and listen not to what he says, but rather to what he does not say. Half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it so that the other half may reach you. A sense of humor is a sense of proportion. My loneliness was born when men praised my talkative faults and blamed my silent virtues. When life does not find a singer to sing her heart, she produces a philosopher to speak her mind. A truth is to be known always, to be uttered sometimes. The real in us is silent, the acquired is talkative. The voice of life in me cannot reach the ear to you in life, or the ear of life in you. But let us talk that we may not feel lonely. When two women talk, they say nothing. When a woman speaks, she reveals all of life. Frogs may not bellow louder than bulls, but they cannot drag the plow in the field, nor turn the wheel of the wine press. And of their skins you cannot make shoes. Only the dumb envy the talkative. If winter should say, "Spring is in my heart," who would believe winter? Every seed is a longing. Should you really open your eyes and see, you would behold your image in all images. And you should open your ears and listen, you would hear your own voice in all voices. It takes two of us to discover truth, one to utter it, and one to understand it. Though the wave of words is forever upon us, yet our depth is silent. Many a doctrine is like a window pane. We see through it, but it divides us from truth. Now let us play hide and seek. Should you find it in my heart, it would not be... Now let us play hide and seek. Should you hide in my heart, it would not be difficult to find you. But should you hide behind your own shell, then it would be useless for anyone to seek you. A woman may veil her face with a smile. How noble is the sad heart, who would sing a joyous song with joyous hearts. He who would understand a woman, or dissect genius, or solve a mystery of silence, is the very man who would wake from a beautiful dream to sit at a breakfast table. I would walk with all those who walk. I would not stand still to watch the procession passing by. You owe me more gold than him to who serves you. You owe more than gold to him who serves you. Give him your heart, or serve him. Nay, we have not lived in vain. Have they not built towers of our bones? Let us not be particular and sectional. The poet's mind and the scorpion's tail rise in glory from the same earth. Every dragon gives birth to a St. George who slays it. Trees are poems that earth writes upon the sky. We fell them down and turn them into paper that we may record our emptiness. Should you care to write, and only the saints know why you should, you must needs have knowledge in art and magic, the knowledge of the music of words, the art of being artless, and the magic of loving your readers. They dip their pens in our hearts and think they are inspired. Should a tree write its autobiography, it would not be unlike the history of a race. If I were to choose between the power of writing a poem and the ecstasy of a poem unwritten, I would choose the ecstasy, and it is better poetry. But you and all my neighbors agree that I chose badly. Poetry is not an opinion expressed. It is a song that rises from a bleeding wound or a smiling mouth. Words are timeless. You should utter them or write them with the knowledge of their timelessness. A poet is a dethroned king sitting among the ashes of his palace, trying to fashion an image out of the ashes. Poetry is a deal of joy and pain and wonder, with a dash of the dictionary. In vain shall a poet seek the mother of the songs of his heart. Once I said to a poet, "We shall not know your worth until you die," And he answered, saying, Yes, death is always the revealer. And if indeed you would know my worth, it is that I have more in my heart than upon my tongue, and more in my desire than in my hand. If you sing of beauty, though alone in the heart of the desert, you will have an audience. Poetry is wisdom that enchants the heart. Wisdom is poetry that sings in the mind. If we could enchant man's heart, and at the same time sing in his mind, then in truth he would live in the shadow of God. Inspiration will always sing. Inspiration will never explain. We often sing lullabies to our children that we ourselves may sleep. All our words are but crumbs that fall down from the feast of the mind. Thinking is always the stumbling stone of poetry. A great singer is he who sings their silences. How can you sing if your mouth be filled with food? How shall you...
Alright, hey, what's going on, people? I do realize I'm doing like a whispering voice compared to the soft-spoken in the video. But that's just because I really don't feel like being loud, and I really don't feel like doing the voice at the moment. So, if you did like the video and did like the different style that it was compared to my other ones, please comment, let me know, send a like, drop a like, give me some feedback on it. I got you, and we can continue to do that as well, because I do still want to do the normal ASMR stuff, but I wanted to give that a try because I do believe that soft-spoken does help you sleep. Like I remember there was a channel when I first started, like listening to ASMR. It was a guy named Let's Find Out, and he would talk about the Odyssey, like science, a bunch of I didn't remember the science clearly,